All right, you're live. Are you good?
Yes, I'm good.
All right. Go ahead and get this meeting started. We'll call it to order. It is 6:30. If everybody in the audience will please go ahead and silence your mobile devices, I would greatly appreciate it. All right. Clayton, would you care to lead us in our invocation tonight?
Absolutely. Lord, most kind of gracious Heavenly Father, Lord, we thank you for this day. We thank you, Lord, for your many blessings you bestowed upon us, Lord. I thank you for each and every household that's represented here this evening. And Lord, I pray, Lord, you'd be in the midst, and I pray, Lord, that you'd help lead and guide and direct the decisions that are made right tonight, Lord, and the discussions that are taking place, and give us clear minds, clear thoughts. Lord, I ask you to continue to bless us, lead, guide, and direct us. I favor us in Jesus' name. Amen.
Attention, salute, pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Board members, if there are any conflicts or interest reminders that the board needs to be made aware of, please do so at this time. Hearing none, we will move forward to conditions and the changes to the agenda. And what have you got?
I have, Ms. Norma Duncan came in earlier today and she asked to be added to the reports and presentations, item C. For her to introduce the alternate senior NC legislator and provide a quick update.
Okay, can one of the board members please put that in the form of a motion?
And we need to, I think,
Remove one of the items.
remove the workforce board appointment, if that's correct, Mr. Pittman.
Yeah, I don't think we have anybody identified yet.
Okay, so we can make a motion to take that off as well.
All right, we have two motions.
I'll make a motion that we remove item number 10B,
And then item 9C.
and add item 9C, which would be presentation from Ms. Norma Duncan.
All right. Do we have a second?
Second.
Thank you. All in favor, vote by usual sign. All right, motion carries. All right. Do we have a motion to adopt the agenda?
So move.
Thank you. Who seconded? Who seconded? Okay. All in favor, vote by usual sign, motion carries. And have any board members had enough time to review, the minutes before you for May the 6th, 7th, and the 14th? And if you guys need a few moments to read those. Do so. And then make a motion if everything looks good to you all.
Make a motion to approve the minutes previous meetings on May 6th, 7th, and 14th, 2024.
Thank you, Steve. You have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Clayton. All in favor, vote by usual sign. Okay, the motion carries. All right, we are moving right along. We are now on item 9A, which is our 2024-2025 budget message and presentation from our county manager.
And you know what, I'll let them off. Give me just 1 second.
We're good.
Thank you. I'm ready. All right, folks, I'm ready to present. All right, in accordance with North Carolina General Statute 159-11, it is my honor to present the fiscal year 2024-2025 proposed Mitchell County budget to the Board of Commissioners and our esteemed citizens for consideration. The balanced budget is mindful of future growth and has been meticulously crafted to meet the projected needs of all county operations, capital improvements, and statutory requirements. The proposed budget totals $25,355,000 $627, reflecting a 2.1% decrease from the current fiscal year 23-24 amended budget of $25,894,570. This decrease is mainly attributed to the completion of large grant-funded projects in the current year budget. The proposed 24-25 budget is balanced with a tax rate of 56 cents per $100 valuation based on the current value of real, personal, and vehicle property. The tax rate remains unchanged from last year. This budget is based on a projected tax collection rate of 97.25%. With the current 23-24 fiscal year collection rate trending above 97.32%, we feel this budget's collection rate of 97.25% is both conservative and attainable. Revenues from sales tax are budgeted at $5,141,388, the same as last year. This conservative approach is informed by trended economic data, which predicts sales tax revenue to level off. The revenue assumptions in this budget are based on realistic, not optimistic, projections. The expenditures for Mitchell County remain steady overall in the proposed budget, with most expense projections factoring in a 3 to 5% increase to account for inflation. As Mitchell County grows, expenses will trend up. From a new law enforcement center opening in October to the county operating the tag office, our citizens are being better served. The leadership of Mitchell County has a fiscal duty to manage growth in a responsible manner. As a result, those who receive funds from Mitchell County will be held to high standards of accountability. The proposed 24-25 budget is balanced and prepared in accordance with the Local Government Budget and Fiscal Control Act. This budget represents our commitment to building a brighter future for all who call Mitchell County home. I would like to extend my gratitude to this Board of Commissioners for their diligence and valuable input into this proposed budget. I would also like to thank the Mitchell County Finance Department, consisting of Mavis Parsley, Christy Young, and Allison Smith. Their expertise and insight has been essential throughout the budget process. The charts on the following pages provide an overview of the revenues and expenditures in the 24-25 proposed budget. The full budget will be on display at the Mitchell County Administration Office, and a public hearing is scheduled during the regular commission meeting on June 3rd, 2024 at 6:30 p.m. I encourage you to review the proposed budget in detail and provide your valuable feedback. Thank you for your consideration. And just the budget highlight sheet, I just have a little graph that I can get to anyone who wants it. And it talks about the top 5 projected revenues in the budget. And those would be, number one revenue is $13.78 million coming in on property tax. Next one is $5.14 million in sales tax. And then departmental revenue from the earnings of departments, $4.17 million, $746,000 in other taxes, and $1.52 million in miscellaneous revenues. Also on the chart on my back of my program here is the top 5 projected expenses. So I tried to do a little different this year just to give you a little top 5. So of course, the largest one would be the departments, agencies, and operations. When we're giving out to outside agencies, we're running all the departments. That attributes to about $8.7 million in this budget. Excuse me, about $5.26 million is going to be running towards human services. Human services would be the health department and DSS. $4.95 million will be public safety, which would be communications, law enforcement, and related things, EMS. Then on the K-12 schools is a total of 3.97 million accounted for in this budget. And that is related to K through 12 schools. And then the final thing is, environmental and recycling from our outside, landfill operation that we're in partnership with to, our recycling and convenience centers. That's 2.48 million going to that. So that's just a little quick rundown, and the board has this in their email. If they'd like to take a better look, and any citizen that would like it, I can get that to them as well. And I would ask that the board consider and note this budget.
Thank you. County Manager? Anybody have any questions for Alan?
Madam Chair, if the board has not already considered it, you would need to call for a public hearing on the budget.
And we think it's scheduled for June 3rd.
Third, the notice is already
Okay, good.
sent.
Yes, ma'am.
Sufficient, great.
Yeah.
All right, so did you say the notices have been sent out?
The notice has already been sent to the paper.
Oh, right, awesome, you got it, honest, thank you. So, all right, we'll move right along then, and item 9B is our board reports. Has anybody met with any outside boards since?
I met with the chamber board last Wednesday. They're in the process of finish cleaning the building that they're currently in, transitioning to the visitor center at Parkway. A little bit of issues with their internet out there, Farley. Market on Oak has closed down, but they're still in the process of cleaning out some vendors that was there. Deposits are starting coming in for the Mineral Gym Festival. Pretty sizable amount so far, so that, that will be here before we know it. Looks like it's gonna be another good turnout. That'll be moved to the old food line building
That was my next question.
out on Grassy Creek. It's gonna be the location this year because the Three Peaks Center is going under, major construction right now with the Y and everything that's going on, so they were unable to use that facility. But I think that where it's gonna be located this year is gonna be great. You're gonna have ample parking, easy parking, handicap accessibility. And the vendors are familiar with that building, and I think Barry should be excited about it.
We're not good, that's good news. We briefly met, for the animal shelter board, and everything seems to be tracking right along as far as the, construction of the new animal shelter. And they're trying to toss around ideas for names. So if anybody has anything that just kind of sticks out, definitely let me know and I'll take it back. They're wanting to pick a really good one so they can start getting t-shirts and start doing stuff to fundraise and all of that. And I believe they're doing a case study. That was the only other kind of highlight. I know that county manager, Philip Barrier up there in Avery County was there. And so there was some conversation about that. Avery County did get their mobile animal shelter, and it's pretty neat. And so we do have access to that if there is a scenario where we take in a large amount of cats, dogs, whatever. The whole thing was pretty neat. The gentleman that used to be here at he has worked on that. Was it Paul?
Paul McKinnon.
So Paul had been working on it, and so he was very proud. He was showing it off the other night. So we do have that at our disposal if we do need it. Hopefully we do not, but it is available if we have some sort of emergency. And then last night, the High Country was a pretty quick meeting. They talked a little bit about budget, and then I have sent some information to Alan about all the projects that we have going on. Victoria's gonna make sure that gets published in their next publication. So that's the only two things that I have. All right, Miss Norma, your item 9C.
Thank you for allowing me to do this, and I want to say thank you to all of y'all, because I watched the budget meeting online. and it went rather smooth. I expected to see a little excitement. The race doesn't it? I thought we'd have some excitement.
We raced them.
Um, I would like to introduce tonight Ruth Ann McCurry as my alternate. She was sworn in at High Country Council of Government 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago. And she'll be sworn in Raleigh come June 3rd and 4th. And we'll go through orientation at that time also. So I'll give her a chance after 12 for y'all to ask questions if you'd like to. Anyhow, we attended the meeting in Boone on aging well at ASU, and it was fantastic. And they were so pleased that the dean says that he's going to do it again next year. And that pleases me because it really was good. The Methodist Church is going to have something on a Friday night that is similar to what we listen to at Boone. So you might want to call up there and see just exactly when it is, and you might want to go hear some of them. We heard a lot of different people, audiology, mental health, all of the programs that Council of Government sponsors. We collaborated also with the National Council on Government. They went to Washington, had 139 members there. And they listened, the members of Congress listened to them as they talked about investing in the health and economic security of older adults through support of senior employment and falls prevention programs, making funding permanent for low-income benefit outreach and enrollment. And we pray that the reauthorization of the Older Americans Act is going to pass, because that reflects the needs of our senior centers, our nutrition programs, our caregiving support, healthy aging, elderly rights, and even more. And they added this year obesity care through bipartisan Treat and Reduce Obesity Act. They added that this year. On June the 1st, we are going to participate in the elder abuse program, and the Senior Tar Heels will set up a table just like all the others in the county, and hope that maybe you'll have time to run by and see what all we've got. We also are planning to get in touch with our legislators and bring them here so that we can give them a acknowledgement of thank you for all that they have done for us. And want you to know that Ralph Highscott recommended highly at the graduation at ASU the other night and received a wonderful award, and we're proud of that. Ruth Ann, if you'd come up and answer any questions they might have for you. Sure. We will be going to Raleigh June the 3rd and 4th. And this is the short session. So this is when we are developing our resolutions. So far, we've gotten 18 resolutions and have opened it for the end of May. So we're hoping to get even more resolutions in. So.
Thank you. Sure. Good evening. I could tell you a little bit about my background if you like.
Yes, love to hear that.
Clayton Roberts has probably seen me a time or two because I substituted his 8th grade class when he took a field trip. So I've been subbing for the last 2 years in Mitchell County, starting at Goodge Elementary, Harris, and of course Bowman, and then of course the high school. But I'm retired. I worked 45 years in Department of Defense as a federal employee. As a civilian, I went to Iraq for 18 months. I was deployed there as an officer in charge. Before that, before I worked for the government, I was director of a daycare center for 5 years. And I also
taught school from kindergarten to third grade. I'm an active church member, and by saying that, I run a Daniel Plan program. My place is called Heaven's Nest. And I have people from church that attend that program. But I was requested if I'd go out to the Hope House, Never Too Scarred, if I would run the program out there. And I've been talking with Sarah Ford in Africa. She's called me twice now to try to find out when I'm going to have it on schedule to teach those women out there. I prepare family meals over in Avery County. Originally, my father was born and raised in Avery County. And I have some cousins that are bedridden and housebound, where I personally fix food and deliver it to them a couple times a week. I'm a very strong advocate and participant of the senior center here. I completed in the Tai Chi class and matter of balance class. And I've been, like I said, very active in promoting the programs and activities at the senior center, along with going on some of their trips. And again, I've just joined as far as the Senior Tar Heel legislature as a backup delegate or advocate for Norma Duncan. So, have any questions?
Sound like you're very busy.
I am very busy. In fact, my daughter, who still works in the government, she asked me, Mom, you used to put in 50, 60 hours a week when you worked at the Pentagon. It sounds like you're putting just as many hours in here. But when I retired 2 years ago in January, I really wanted to give back to the community. Built my house 16 years ago down here. And when my father and my mother and my sister passed away, everybody in my household had passed away. And I came down here permanently, but I used to be down here at least once a month because I have over 100 cousins between Avery and Mitchell County. And so I'm very busy.
Wow.
Mhm. But I'm enjoying it. It's great life.
Well, thank you for making time to come.
Oh, sure, no problem. She called me this afternoon and asked if I could come. I said, sure, no problem.
Any questions?
I just say thank you for what you do,
Thank
what
you.
you've signed up to do. It's very important.
Mhm.
You've got a fine lady, as you well know, to give you guidance and to work beside her.
Right, I want to be a sponge as much as possible, to be honest.
She fights very hard for our folks, really, so. Thank you for jumping on board and
Thank you.
staying busy.
Okay. There's no further questions? I'll talk to you later.
Thank you.
Mhm.
All righty. We're moving on to items for discussion. Item 10A is going to be to close the North Carolina Capital Management account. So I'll turn that over to Ms. Mavis Barkley.
again, we're trying to go through a lot of, smaller accounts in the finance office to see their, if we still need them or not. So, I think we did some United Community Bank accounts last, month, and so this month we're requesting to close one North Carolina Capital Management account. And actually, that was opened over 24 years ago before I came here. We left it open thinking there might be a project in the future that we would want to have in this account. It's got like $56 in it. We've never had a use for it. So I think it's time to close it out. It was, some of you may remember this. We bought the EDC many years ago, bought some water and sewer taps. That's back when the EDC was part of the county. We ran it through this account for audit purposes. And of course, the EDC went out on its own. We transferred that asset over to them course, we'd already paid for them by then, but the asset went to them. So there's no need to keep this account anymore because we don't have any use for it. So I'm requesting that the board approve to close this account with North Carolina Capital Management that has $56 and some change in it.
Any discussion from the board? Okay, hearing none, do we have a motion to move forward with closing the North Carolina Capital Management account?
Moved.
Thank you, Jeff. Do we have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Steve. All in favor, vote by usual sign. All right, motion carries. All right, so we skip past item 20B that was removed from the agenda. Next item up is item 10C, the Board of Education Low Wealth Reoccurring Funds Request. And so Mavis.
Do that?
Mavis, go ahead.
I think a couple of meetings ago or so, or maybe County Manager Cook emailed it out to you. Some low wealth information from Raleigh to the Board of Education about the low wealth formula, and we were gonna fall below the threshold for them to be able to get any funding from low wealth unless we increased our operational funding for this year. And the number that they needed us to increase that was $23,557. So the board needs to officially decide if they want to move forward with that so we can get that funding in for this current budget year.
Mavis, that was the funding that allowed them to open up for other grant opportunities.
No, that funding's for them to get their low wealth funding.
Okay, so
So it basically, yeah, causes them to triggers other funding, small county low wealth.
Right,
okay.
So too, it triggers.
but they get a set amount. Yeah, every year, right.
Okay, any discussion from the board? Hearing none, is there a motion to move forward with the Board of Education Low Wealth Reoccurring Fund request of $23,557?
So moved.
Clayton, do we have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Jeff. All in favor, vote by usual sign. The motion carries.
I'll just stand here.
I was gonna say, I think you're
Might as
right.
well.
You're right.
Our next item up for people watching live stream is item 10D, which is our Van construction change order. So I will let you
I
both
can
speak to
speak a
that.
little bit, and then Mavis can chime in. So, we've been talking to Vinoy and the schools about trying to finish the middle school project. We actually had the one-on-one or the meeting between the school board and county commission to discuss, what that build process looked like. And so for Mavis and I to move forward with freeing up some funds, we had to amend the budget ordinance, which means that we needed a change order. And so Benoit is coming in about 3 million under, and for it to be said is one thing, but we needed the change order to show it. And so they provided a change order where the amended price on here, the new contract sum has went down from 39,390,122 down to 36,394,843.50. So that change order is reflecting that to show that that project is running 3 million under budget. Followed up by a letter on the Vinoy letterhead, also stating that fact. So that gives us the documentation we need to move forward with freeing up that 3 million that has some other needs in the build process.
Any board members want to look at the change order?
And it's been signed by the architect, Van Noy, and by us, so we have all acknowledged the change order and will change our documents accordingly.
So this basically guarantees that there's not gonna be addition in changing the numbers.
Vinoy.
Yeah.
So it was unsuitable soils that they went ahead and put in little over 2 million on unsuitable soils, about 750,000 thereabout in contingency funds. And then they came in under on some miscellaneous things to round that out to about 3 million. So yeah, that's the noise. Now we have some stuff we're going after with sales tax. That would be some other items outside the noise scope, but yes. We are moving towards running the school and funding it with their capital sales tax, the remaining needs. That would be the road widening of $750,000 on NC 226. And approximately, 1.3 million worth of furniture.
We're coming up to that. We got one more
Yes.
item and then they're gonna have that in their packet. Yeah. So the change order is just to let you know that they, instead of waiting to the end of the project, they went ahead and did the change order early.
Any discussion from the board? Hearing none, do we have a motion to move forward with the Vanway construction change order?
So moved.
Thank you, Jeff. Do we have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Steve. All in favor, vote by usual sign. Okay, motion carries. All right, Mavis, you're still up. So item 10E on our agenda tonight is our budget amendment number 8.
So this is a small budget amendment, but we needed to do this one now. Because we did a couple things. Last time at last meeting, I think we approved to go ahead and pursue going ahead and replacing the damaged sanitation truck, so I needed to account for that. And more importantly, I needed to account for this $3 million change order because that was in the budget ordinance, the capital budget ordinance that we had done. So we're going to need to amend that budget ordinance, and you'll see that in this budget amendment, we are amending and pulling that $3 million out. And basically that $3 million is coming out of the sales tax restriction we had. If you remember, we of course restricted the 40 million grant, and then we restricted 3.1 million of sales tax, capital sales tax that we are holding. So this amendment releases that sales tax from that capital budget ordinance, so it frees it up to be used elsewhere. Does that make sense?
Any discussion from the board? Do we have a motion to move forward with the budget amendment number 8 for 2023-2024?
So moved.
Thank you, Jeff.
Second.
Thank you, Clayton. Vote by usual sign. Motion carries. All right, item 10F tonight is the Board of Education sales tax request.
So now that we have the budget change order, and then we have the budget amendment that frees up the $3 million, and the school is asking for this money to spend $750 for the road widening project, for one-to-one technology payment that they're going to need to make in July, which is $206,347.84. And they are requesting funds for the school furniture of right at $1.4 million. So they are asking for about $2.3 million of the $3 million to be able to meet their capital needs in those 3 areas.
Any discussions in the board tonight about?
Just one thing. I know there was some concern about not the one-on-one technology that we're currently doing, but I'm assuming the technology that goes into school. How were they gonna pay for that?
If you remember, they were gonna do all but 150 of it from the E-rate funds, which I'm not real familiar with that. Then the 150, did they say they were gonna use some fund balance or something? I
They were
forget.
going to get dropped some funding.
Or use from some, I don't know.
Lottery or there's a drop of funding coming in. I'll have to review.
Lottery was 120, I remember, they still. it's coming.
But lottery funds can't be
reduce.
used for technology. I thought they said fund balance, but I'm not sure.
Okay, I just wanted to bring.
I'm not sure. I don't remember. We'd have to go back and review that. meeting notes, but they did indicate they had a plan for that.
They didn't say that we needed any for the, middle school, new middle school technology. They seem to think they had that
So
covered.
that's cut, so everything's covered.
Yeah, and I've double checked with that. I doubled down on that. It sounded like it was covered.
They've not asked for that one yet, so.
Any more discussion? Do we have a motion for the amount of, what did you say, maybe it's
$38,323.60.
to be funded to the Mitchell County School System out of the sales tax funds?
The capital sales tax funds that we just released, the 3 million that we just released, just gonna leave them about 700,000 in there.
Thank you, Steve. Do we have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Jed. All in favor, vote by usual sign. Motion carries.
Thank you.
All right, item 10 is our Mitchell County School surplus property resolution.
Yes, so we had tabled this one, so it's come back around to the next meeting. And the discussion was, do we waive our right of first refusal, declare it surplus property for Harrison Beatty? I don't think this board was really inclined to want to go that route, so as we revisit that today, I think what's on the table might be a discussion or a motion related to, going ahead and letting that property just, be sold via the general statutory requirements of that they have to give us our right of first refusal. So we have to do that on every offer. So that will be something the board would need to discuss, but that's where I think I'm seeing the board.
County Attorney, any discussion that we,
It's within your discretion. The statute does give you a right of first refusal when the school system declares a school to be surplus property. So you have a right of first refusal. You can act now if you choose to, or you can wait until you have more information as to what the offer is, whether you wish to act upon your right of first refusal. So that's within your discretion.
any discussion from the board? Do we have a motion? Either way.
And Madam Chair, if you'd only need a motion if you wish to waive it now, or if you wish to propose something other than what the general statute would require. Otherwise, if you take no action,
So we just don't have
they'll
to,
have to present that to you. So you would not need to do a motion, not necessarily.
you guys good with that?
I'm good, yeah.
And no motion?
Never know,
Okay.
the quicker they can actually put it on market, yeah, it's gonna be a win-win for everybody.
Forward then, I believe we only have one item on our consent agenda tonight. It is item 11A, and it is our cleaning contracts. Do you have any information to bring forward?
Yeah, it's basically, we renegotiated the contracts, looked at the workload and, feel like they're good consent.
We actually
contracts.
reduced them
Yeah,
some
they're a lot
because
reduced.
we decided to reduce the cleaning schedule a little bit in some of our buildings because we feel like we can do without 5 days a week in some buildings. In preparing to take on new buildings, we
Yes.
decided we would try to reduce the cost, and that's what we've done.
Do these cleaning contracts incorporate the new sheriff's office?
Not yet. That's why we're reducing the ones we currently have. And we will add that once, he has given us a price. He's looked at the square footage. We've just not decided on if it's gonna be 5 days a week or what yet, but we will enter into that one once that building is open. We will bring that one back and revisit.
And are these contracts for 1 year?
Mhm.
Okay.
And Madam Chair, you vote to approve these, they would need a pre-audit certification, I believe, maybe
And I
that's
will-
a stamp to
I
do
will do
that.
that, yeah.
But I did want to point out that would be needed to make them official.
All right, thank you. Any discussion from the board on item 11A? Hearing none, do we have a motion to move forward with the cleaning contracts?
So moved.
Thank you.
Second.
Thank you, Clayton. All in favor, vote by usual sign. Motion carries. All right, Mavis, you're up again if you have anything for your permanent report tonight.
really won't talk too much about finance. I think we've done enough of that, but I do want to talk to the board about one item. If you remember back when we took over the school project in December, you kind of gave me the approval to go ahead and approve and pass on to lottery their request. I looked at the invoices that came with the request every month. I went ahead and approved those so they could get them in by the 25th of the month, so we could get our money by the end of the month and we could pay the invoices. And not having to wait to a board meeting to bring those to you every time. And I think County Manager Cook and I've done a pretty good job of vetting those out and saying, no, we're not signing this one because this isn't right, or I think we did a pretty good job of looking at those and determining if there was an issue with them. What I would like to ask the board to do is to do the same thing with this next project that we're entering in right now, which is the $14.5 million grant. It's going to work the same way. They're going to have to send us the invoices. The architect's going to have to approve them. They're going to have to come to us. We're going to have to do a request to lottery, not to lottery this time, but to the grant folks to get the money for that. So I would like to have the board to allow me and County Manager Cook to look at those and determine if they look and if they meet the scope of work and they meet the confines of the grant, to go ahead and be able to process those instead of wait until the next board meeting for you guys to have to approve each one of those. Is that a possibility?
When is the project gonna start?
Well, it's
When do you need this put in form?
It's actually in design phase.
phase now, and they have done one piece of the project already, which was minor. It was small dollars. They did some fencing work already. I can't remember, was it about 60 or $70,000?
Yes.
Yeah, it was 70 actually. They've already done that so far, but we're getting ready to go into, in fact, their Van Noy is hoping by Thursday to have their final price on the
Yeah.
auxiliary gym.
They are honing that price in real soon, in the next week or so. So that's gonna put Mavis in the mode of, we're basically, our incentive in here is to run this thing on audit and to keep the county covered as far as our legal obligations. And so we're basically benchmarking off each other. You know, Mavis will look at something, Alan, tell me what you think about this. Then I'll say, well, I think about it. Then we'll get together on it. And if it's really confusing, we'll call Lloyd or not Lloyd, or Misty. I have to call him.
I think that's high.
And then, and then we have called Van Noy Tanner Winchester,
Yeah.
because he's gonna be doing this project too. Like if we're a little confused about some of the change orders or how the pricing is, he's been real good to talk to us by phone and has come over a couple times and discussed it with us if we're not sure. Because, I mean, I have to understand it since I have to do the report, and this one will have a quarterly report that I have to do. And then I have to make sure it follows the scope of work, which they wrote. I just have to follow it. And then, of course, we'll have closeout and then audit of that project. So this one is a little bit different than the state. In fact, that I've got to do a lot more on this one than I did with the other one as far as reporting goes. Lottery's not requiring me to do any reporting, but
So at this point, not yet.
Okay. Of course, I don't have to vote on that just yet. So.
okay, all right. That's all I have.
All right, county manager, item 13.
Lucky 13. Yeah, county manager report, we're working on a lot of projects, probably about 2 years from now, I think Mavis will need to do some consulting for project administrative management. We'll know who to consult for counties, so we're getting getting our game on as we run through a lot of these, but, right now, if you go to the health department, you'll see the siding pulled off, so, the old wood siding's now gone, they didn't have OSB underneath it, they had the old styrofoam, so we're getting that retaped, and yeah, we'll have to batten and then put our metal siding on, but we got that rolling.
We do that in-house.
That's actually, I contracted out to get that.
Okay.
Dustin Silvers is the gentleman doing our siding and windows. He was the lowest of, we went and solicited 3 bids and his was the lowest. And seems to be doing a good job communicating, younger fellow. So we're on schedule, we're looking at that. I told him, I said, I'd like to get that thing done by about the last week in June for budget purposes, and he's busting it trying to get there. He had to wait for windows to get ordered. Rec center construction meetings, so Rise is our contractor that was the lowest bidder, as y'all knew last meeting. And we're doing construction meetings with Rise. They've logged us into their Procure system. And of course, Stan Cook is our engineering firm over that. And everything's running really good on there. A lot of preferences and stuff we're getting to do on the rec center as far as, you know, colors, floors. So you all might be consulted on that before it's over with. So that project's running smooth. Law Enforcement Center is Thursday. We'll have an update meeting on it. It's going on schedule. Have a few little things in there we always are working with, but it's should be getting some sheetrock on the interior. And I like to take y'all out, maybe 2 at a time. Anytime y'all are ready to go out there and show it to you, you're starting to see it take shape. It will be a nice looking law enforcement center. And just as far as everything goes, just a shout out back there to Taylor. She's gonna be leaving us here and might be her last meeting, so always want to say appreciation for all she's done over the last couple of years. So that will conclude my county manager report.
All right, thank you for that. All right, Miss Taylor, you got anything for your report, Kim?
I guess cat's out of the bag.
I'm sorry.
No, I'm kidding. I did wanna let everybody know that the annual conference is August 8th through the 10th in Forsyth County. If anybody wants me to get them scheduled for that before I go, or I'm sure Christy would be happy to help you guys after that with anything, but wanted to say thank you guys for everything, and if this is my last meeting, I'll see you when I see you, I guess. But we very much enjoyed being here the last few years, so
But you're gonna enjoy it. I'm
I'm gonna enjoy staying for the newborn baby a little bit more.
Both boys will be in school.
Yeah, they go to school the week of my due date, so
Oh, wow.
I'm pleased with that, just right. So it'll work out good. Yeah.
All right, thank you, Taylor. Do we have anybody in the audience that wanted to speak in public comment tonight? Okay, hearing none. I do think there is a need for a closed session, and I believe that will be in regards to North Carolina General Statute 153-143. 143. All right, I'm gonna eventually remember them. 143-18A6.
You're very close. If you would like for the next 143-318, 11, A3 and A7, which are personnel and attorney-client matters.
All right. Thank you, Ford, for always having those.
No problem.
You just ran those out. Do we have a motion to go into closed session
So
tonight?
moved.
Thank you, Clayton. Do we have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Jeff. And for the closed session, we'll have the board, Taylor, county attorney, and Linda. And, yeah, sorry. Sorry, Alan.